good? Thank you for being here, man. This is so awesome. Can't wait. We're excited. I know our team is excited to get started tomorrow. We had a good meeting yesterday. Everybody's fired up. I think it's a new story to this season. Obviously, got a lot of new faces. But before we get started, I wanted to shout out to T.O. and his staff. Kevin and his staff in the training room for what they did. They had an unbelievable summer. Our guys look good. We had a team test yesterday. I think 3 guys didn't make it, but everybody else did. So it's a good sign, and I'm excited to get going. I thought, Jerry Roberts was one of the guys that stood out to me. The D-line really looked pretty good, and obviously our whole secondary did an outstanding job. The scheme is a scheme. We play one high safety, 2 high safeties. The only thing that's going to is different is the verbiage. They got to get used to. Some of the adjustments are a little bit different, but I'm not trying to change it. I'm trying to keep it simple. This is college football. You get 20 hours to spend with these kids. So if we could keep things simple for them and allow them to play fast, that's what I'm looking for. Well, take away, and I think we got to own the line of scrimmage. We got to play with great fundamentals, and we got to play with great technique. That's the start. And then obviously the system, it's got to be simple for our guys and not trying to be too complicated what they're thinking. I just want these guys to play fast.
It sounds like a good sign. Jerry Roberts was one of the standouts in conditioning. You had a lot of flux in those linebacker spots during spring, a lot of injuries and youth. How would you kind of assess what you're looking at those positions?
I was pleased with him, this summer. Just from, Roberts, coming back after an injury and then the leadership that he's bringing. I thought our young kids stepped up and did a great job this summer picking up the defense. And that was one of the things that stood out to me. The trust that we have in this team. The guys being able to function at practice with them by themselves. A lot of good reports were coming back. The way the players lead the team. And I think that's a good sign, obviously when you're trying to change a program. Well, I think, obviously the voice. They've been with me for a year now. The scheme, a little bit similar to what we did a little bit at UCLA. And then the work ethic, what my expectation is for the players. And so those are the things, I think those 2, and Hunter, he's been with me for the longest at USC. So those are the guys we're counting on at least to show our young guys exactly what my expectation is. We got to get to the quarterback. That's the whole deal. And I think those guys had a great offseason with T.O., and I'm expecting a lot of big things from those 2. Oh, it's unbelievable. When you turn on the film from spring to last year, totally different player. And then after the summer, being with Hunter, being with Tia, understanding what the technique is that we're teaching, I think I'm counting on him to have a big year.
From the time you recruited Hunter to now, what's been the biggest?
He's grown up, and I think he's getting bigger, stronger, and he's more committed to being a great football player.
What can you tell us about Jacob?
He's just a work. His work ethic is unbelievable. He loves the game of football. He's got a great passion for the game. He's one of those kids that brings everybody along. And coming from a winning program, that's a plus. I had him get up and introduce himself yesterday to the defense, and you could see the respect that the room had for the kid. So it says a lot about his personality and that was the thing that drew me. You know, when I was at UCLA, I was the first one to offer him, and then when I got here, you know, I tried to find every way possible to get him here, and now I'm glad he's here. I think we play more zone, and we change up the pictures and the way we disguise our coverages. And then obviously we had a little pressure on the quarterback. I think that was the biggest thing. You got to practice. You know, you got to spend more time. If you're going to be good at something, you got to practice it, you got to study it, and you got to teach it. You know, I think that's the only way you're going to get better from it. You know, obviously Jacob is one of them. Uh, you know, all of them, to be honest with you, all of them had a great summer, you know, according to TO. So, you know, it's too early. Give me a couple of days after a couple of practice, and I'll be able to answer that question.
Are you going to add a lot more stuff as far as different plays and packages? Or are you more along the lines of we are where we are, let's focus on the fundamentals?
You know, when I got hired here, we start recruiting. 2 weeks later, we're in spring ball. So to try to install a system in 2 weeks, that was tough. So we tried just to introduce just the simple, basic stuff to them and teach them about the game of football. That was my biggest thing. You know, that was the thing that stood out to me when I got here. It was just their football IQ, you know, so we focus on that. But to answer your question, there's no doubt. For us to get to where we want to get and winning football games, we got to expand. I think if the kids understand the reason why are they doing things and how they doing it, I think that's going to help them, you know, execute, you know, when we get to the games and practice and understand the install and the reason why we're doing things. So understanding offense and things like that, I think is pretty big in their development. Well, some of these guys, I'm their third defensive coordinator. You know, Marcel Yates used to play zone defense, and Marzell was my GA. So, you know, and then obviously man to man. I think coach coming in here, and I think the short period of time just trying to get the system in place. You know, I think that was one of the reasons why they play a lot of man last year.
As someone who used to coach at USC and UCLA, what was your reaction when you heard that they were moving to Big Ten?
I really didn't care, to be honest with you. You know, good for them, good for us. Now we could go to Los Angeles and get more players to stay here, stay in the West Coast. We're good? Thank you, guys.